everyone.
Hi everyone.
Hi, Shruti.
Hello.
Hello. Good morning.
Hello. Good morning. Good evening.
Do we have a quorum in number of voting TSC members?
We do.
Okay, let's do some vote today.
Right, let's go ahead and get started here. First thing on the agenda is from Shruti, revising code owner voting requirements.
Yes, I can jump into that. So let me share my screen. Okay. Hope everybody can see it. The font looks okay.
Your font is very, can you zoom it?
Okay. Is this better?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay. So quick proposal, I think we are trying to expand the code owners, maintainers on the Magma project, since now we have so many community members contributing. And looking through the current code owners, I realized that we have around 21 teams. The code owners are split across these 21 sub-teams of approvers. There is overlap across these, but whenever we need to add a code owner, we start a poll for each nomination to each team, and that's how it has been happening. For example, anybody, like in my case, if I have to add a new code owner to the Access Gateway MME team, it needs enough votes from code owners of all the other teams, like all code owners, and some of whom may not even have context. So some of them have reached out that, oh, we are not aware of this person's contribution to make a confident vote either way. So the proposal, as Ulash suggested on Slack, was, can we restrict the voting for new members to a specific GitHub team to the code owners already part of that team? That way they have enough context and the voting can be faster and smoother without any burden on other code owners. So the proposal is simple. Each new nomination to add contributor C to team T will require a majority vote from all existing members of team T. And if there's an existing code owner, say, who is member of AGW MME and they need to be added to Intech tests, all the code owners on this team vote for that nomination, as long as once we have majority, we go ahead. I know some of the teams might be very small, like at the moment, they're just 2 code owners or something. And in that case, also the majority vote should allow us to add new code owners, because anybody coming in with enough contributions in terms of PRs, issues resolved, is, in my opinion, a good person to be added to maintain that code. So that's what I had, and we have a few nominations coming in from the Access Gateway side. So I wanted to get an opinion on this one, vote on this, so I can request other members to start new nominations.
Yeah, so this is really good. I have a question.
Yes.
So let's say we have a lot of companies working on Magma code base.
Mhm.
So if let's say a new member comes in a company and they start contributing to the Magma. So first they have to prove themselves like via PRs or issues that, okay, they are right fit for our approvers team. Then
Mhm.
only the team members can add them to that particular team. Doesn't matter if they are from the same company or some other company, right?
Right. Yeah, I think contribution history is key qualification for a code owner, in my opinion.
Okay. Yeah,
Right.
this sounds good.
Maybe we can add that here. Like, I don't want to put a number of peers, but I think the existing code owners are the best judge of that. Like, somebody can create one PR which changes like 1,000 lines of code, and somebody can write 1,000 PRs with one line changes. So there's really no good way to put a number there, but the existing code owners would be a better judge of the new nominations contributions.
Right. Yes, agreed.
Yeah, agreed. That's a good proposal, Shruti.
From a technical point of view, this day we are creating a poll on Slack, and it's all the member of that channel that does, the co-owner channel that does vote. We make a channel per team.
That's a good point.
I just let's see how we will do the voting later on, but it's important to find a way of, or either by email or I don't know how it will be done, but
Right.
we need to find a way of
Executing this.
executing this after that. I mean, it's for me, I have no particular objection. I mean, it's also make so my life easier because most of the candidates I don't know them, and so for me it's easy. It's not difficult. It's a bit difficult to vote for if they are a good contributor or not. I think the fact that we restrain to the team to vote is a good idea because they know people that do contribute on their part.
So,
But yeah, we need to have a way of doing these elections now.
I think email would be the easiest way, considering that we are using them for other votes as well. Kendall, what do you think?
Yeah, I think it kind of comes down to what each team, how they want to handle it. I mean, with 21 teams, that's a lot for like one person or myself to manage all of the proposals and votes coming in. So I would personally say it should kind of fall on to the team on how they want to do it. Do they each have their own Slack channel that they can do votes on, or we can create them each a mailing list that they can do their votes on, or they could do them all on the TSC mailing list. It's whatever you think would be the best.
I see.
I have also something, can we also cap the number of per team? And I think we need to, at some point, also do some cleanups on the team, because I guess sometimes you have members on teams that are not active anymore. So that's also something that people should be aware that otherwise, I mean, you will have all the contributors on a given team that would become a contributor and also member of the approval team. So
that's true. Yeah, we could trim down the number of teams here.
Not just the number of teams, but the number of members within each team. Because at some point, we don't want to have every contributor to a given, for example, the MME being approvers. I mean, I don't think it's a good idea that everyone that is contributing can be a senior approver.
So just a question here: can the same approver be part of the several other groups and still be part of the process? Can the same person be part of all these 21 groups, for example?
In theory, yes. I mean, for example, I think I know people that are at least members of multiple teams, definitely.
Yeah. Okay. So is there a minimum number of people that should be present in every group? So Shruti, you said 2 members is a minimum, is it, per group?
Not I don't know the exact number. This was just a guess. But I think if we look for it, we might find one of these teams as 2 or 3 members, not more than that.
Okay.
Yeah. And I think it's worth revisiting on the extent to which each team is active, and we are adding new contributors to that. Right? I think the motivation, and Hunter is not on the call here. The motivation on creating some of these teams has been more of feature or code driven in terms of which code, or who are more aware of the source code, and which needs, in some cases, like approvers orchestrator and approvers orchestrator infra. And there's also some access control there, I believe. Shubham, you might know that better. Yeah. Right. So there is some access control built into these teams, and then there's some context on the code base itself. So
okay. So Shruti,
yeah.
for example, I started working in this projects late of 2021.
Mm-hmm.
So I have mostly worked on enabling the containerized AGW on ARM platform. So the difficulty that the difficulty is I couldn't associate myself to which group I have to be part of as a newcomer to this project, right? I know I am deviating away from this discussion, but going forward, I want to be part of this group and take a part of this process. So I would like to identify myself in which group I fall under, right? So yeah, I have to contribute based on the files. We can take a look, but will it be nicer to add some description about each of these groups that we are forming, right? People like me who are new to this project can understand at a high level where we really fit in, right? Yeah, not just at orchestrator or federation gateway or AGW, right? The modules that is inside AGW or other components, right?
Right.
It will be helpful. I don't know whether there is such description already exist. I haven't browsed.
So can you see the code owners file that I have on my screen at the moment?
Yeah.
Right. So this is where I pick the groups teams from, and this shows a map between which approvers are maintaining which section of the code. And one way to align yourself would be to look at which section of the code are you contributing, and you would know the mapping to the team. That's one way to go about it. And I do see when the project started, we had a very smaller list and a very coarse-grained ownership. But as things have evolved, we are adding more and more fine-grained controls here. So I would say this is one way to start. But I think, to your point, if I understand correctly, is it's hard for a newcomer to understand where they belong.
Correct.
In the right.
Yes.
And and that's where the existing code owners who have to approve your code changes. If you are submitting a first change, they come into play in terms of identifying which teams and which team is best aligned, and which team they belong to, and that's where you jump onto the maintainer boat.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
Does that answer your question?
Yeah, Shruti. Yeah, sounds good. So we are relying on the existing members of each group to do that job, and that should be carried forward, right? As new members join in, they will get automatically trained or understand the process, right?
Right. That's what I'm relying on. That it's hard to automate this, but once you are in touch with one maintainer and you're working and submitting PRs, you can get more aligned with the process.
Okay. And how can I see the members of this group that is mentioned in this?
You could.
You have to
Ah.
go to the teams.
Teams
Yes.
among people.
First in the Magma organization.
Ah,
Go to the Magma organization. Yes.
teams.
I see. Okay. Okay. Okay.
And I think you can find it here.
Okay. Thanks. Thanks.
So to answer your point, some of the teams, like we can find the small teams here, the membership number of members in different teams.
Yeah.
And ideally the goal is to expand these counts so the teams, we have more code owners to review code and maintain the code.
Right. Right. And for people who have not contributed yet, but if they volunteer to contribute and if they are willing, how can I include them as part of this process so that in future they can also be part of any one of this group, right? How to encourage that, right? Though they haven't contributed much, what kind of process we can put in place so that they can easily come on board, right?
I think for that, I would really encourage them to start with the first task, I think the contribution and outreach group might have a better template there, which we can flash here or on the hashtag contributing channel on Slack. They can start from that and go to the documentation, start contributing, create their first PR, get comfortable with the code base, and then based on their use case, start contributing. And once I think some contribution is prerequisite to become a maintainer, because that signifies your awareness of the code. So that would be the path.
Okay. Okay. Sounds good.
Anybody
Yeah.
else has a comment on that?
Yeah, and just chiming in, this is Marie. There should be a wiki page that has the exact criteria we're looking for. So it's things like PRs committed, PRs reviewed, and proposals made in that domain. So that I can link that to.
Yeah.
I'm not sure which channel would be the best, but I can link that to. Should I?
This one, Mary?
Which one?
What's on my screen, what I'm sharing?
Oh, yes. Yeah, that's it.
Okay.
Maybe we can pin this to the governance code owners public channel.
We can update this also on our meeting notes in wiki.
Yeah. So coming back, I think coming back to the original discussion around revising the voting requirements, if I understand everyone correct, everybody is on board on reducing the voting pool to the team. A nomination needs to be added to, but we still need some more clarity on how the vote will be executed and how can we prune the list of teams at the moment, so where we know all the teams are effective and the process is more efficient than.
I have an idea. So
Yes.
we can create a GitHub issue, assign it to those 2 or 3 or number of people who are currently code owners, and in that issue they can approve or like they do their voting, and then once approval or disapproval is done, then we can close the issue.
I think the voting should be anonymous just to keep it
Yes,
hassle-free.
okay, true. Yeah, right.
So email is the best thing that comes to my mind at the moment, but yeah, Kendall, in the interest of making progress, can we start with email for the few mail teams that are pending nominations? And if the process gets more too cumbersome, we can think about other approaches.
Sure. Are you proposing that I send out those proposals to get voted on, or?
Right. Or we can just share it on the Slack channel and everybody can send in the email to you directly, whichever works. I think if the code owners, it's on the current code owners to accept new nomination. So if they're all aware of any new nomination, they would be fast to respond.
Okay. Yeah, let's briefly chat offline, you and I, just to make sure of the process figured out. But yeah, we can find a good way to do this.
Okay. That's all from my side. Thanks, everyone.
Great. Okay. So next thing on the agenda, let me share my screen. So next we have two proposals that we need, two grant proposals that we need the TSC to go through and fill out the template, the review template. So I linked each of them here for you to go through, put your notes, and see if these two would be good to pass along to the TAC and to the board. So please take your time, be honest with that, with both of those. It would be great to have everyone finished by the end of the week, if that's possible. And it's just one per proposal, so all of the TSC members will use the same one for each one.
Kendall, I'm new to this, I'm trying to understand this process. So the template that you were showing, can you click on the EAPTLS, please? Yeah. So you want every TSC member to fill the corresponding review area? Like
Yeah, exactly. To just go through, put your notes in,
I see.
and if you approve it or not, kind of
Okay.
thing. Approve per each of these. And if you also notice anything that's missing from this chart that should be a review area, let me know so we can update this template. We're all new to this process actually, so we'll see how this goes, and if we need to come up with a better process, that's fine as well. But we're going to try it for these two, and please be honest with it, because this will be, you know, a grant proposal that will, you know, paying the money to do. So make sure that it is something that the project would definitely want moving forward.
Yeah. Yeah. So this expects every TSC member to have some expertise, right, on the area. For example, EAPTLS or plug and play, right? Just a high level understanding is not enough, right? One should have some in-depth knowledge to comment on these templates, right?
Yeah,
What
and
is-
each of these should have a, I couldn't find them in the grant proposals, but each of them should have a code owner sponsor who should help with the expertise of it. So I don't know if Shirji, if you know who the code owner sponsors for each of these proposals are, that would be helpful, I believe.
Yeah, I think it would be worthwhile checking on the issue itself. I'm not aware of.
Yeah, I looked
the
at the issue
owners.
and I couldn't, they didn't say it on there.
Yeah, I
For
mean,
the plug and play, it's Alex Rodriguez.
Okay.
Okay. So the expectation is the TSC member have to reach out to code owner sponsor to understand the proposal. I mean, this has to happen offline and then go add their review notes. Is that the expectation, Kendall?
Yes, that's
Right.
correct.
Okay.
Yeah, because then once you go through it, then you can we can either vote to pass it along to the TAC and the board, or you can go back to the person who proposed the grant proposal and just let them know, okay, here you're on the right direction, here's what we need to change, or just a flat out, this isn't gonna work kind of thing.
Okay. And so the code owner name will be mentioned in the same document that you just opened, right? So as part
Yes.
of the template.
I'll have
Yeah.
to figure out who the first one is, because I could not figure it out, but I'll see if Ashlyn knows. But that usually they should put it in their proposal. I don't know why these two don't have it.
The first one might have come from Jim May and said,
Oh, Jim is.
Shoelace,
Oh,
right?
from Shoelace. Yeah, that would. I didn't realize he was a co-owner. Yeah, that makes sense.
It kind of I'm not sure that's the case, but I know he was talking about a similar project.
Right,
Okay.
and the code owner sponsor here is an existing code owner on the Magma project. So that's the name we are looking for here.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think Jim is a.
Oh, I was
code owner
about to
on
say,
Magma.
so in that case, Jim might not actually
Not be it.
I got
Okay.
you. Okay.
Right.
Then
Yeah.
I will find that one today and put that in here for y'all.
Yeah. Yeah, we can comment on the issue directly so the author
Yes,
can respond.
that as well. And the links to the issues are in these templates for you.
One question on process. You guys assume that since Freedom Fi was the originator of the plug and play proposal, that I shouldn't be going in and adding notes and just
Yeah.
abstain from that one.
I think that's fine. Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay.
That's probably
Well,
smart. As long as all the other TSC members jump in on that one, and maybe would you be someone they could ask questions to if they had questions
Yeah,
on the proposal?
absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, Joey's question is if the TSC member is proposing, can he add the review notes? Right? Is that the question?
Yeah, I think so.
And that's allowed, is it, Kendall? The TSC member, whoever is
Yeah,
proposing.
I mean, we don't have it written out that it's not allowed. I think it's really up to your judgment on if you want to be a part of it or if you wish to abstain. It's really up to you. We don't actually have any written rules against it per se.
So I think that
My actual question was, is it going to be considered complete without me putting comments in? Because if we're expecting everyone to review, and then I'm absent, I mean, like,
It would still be
wrote the
considered.
original.
Yeah, it would still be considered complete, even
Yeah,
without
okay.
your, yeah.
Gotcha.
I assume we would just need quorum in each one, so at least 5 of the TSC members to review each one would be
Got it,
ideal.
okay.
Yeah.
So
got it.
I have an input here. So when we are reviewing these proposals, we are reviewing this as a TSC member. So even if proposal was proposed from my company, we should definitely review it and give it our personal review or technical review, that if it's like good for the project or the entire Magma ecosystem, even if that's the last review.
Yeah.
I think Joey, you should give your review because that is very useful and meaningful.
Got it. Then, yeah, I will provide comments.
Great. All right. So yeah, please have those. Please look through those and have those finished by the end of the week, if possible.
Kendall, one more point. I mean, 8 TSC members have to reach out to the same code owner, right? It will be a cumbersome process for the person who is actually working with the TSC members, right? So if they can actually discuss what is the technical content in this proposal, so that it will be easier for the code owner or the person who is proposing, right? Instead of each TSC member reaching out there to them to understand the proposal.
Right. So, Govind, if I can jump in here, note that all the proposals, at least like some of the Freedom 5 proposals that we have seen recently, they have already been revised. A couple have gone through a few iterations with the existing code owner sponsor. And ideally, the proposal write-up itself on the grant should be clear enough for any TSC member to jump in and review. If we need things like, I would recommend that as the first step. And if you need more clarity, it would be good to do it in the public, post a comment on the issue itself. So it's visible to not just the author, but also the other members on the TSC. And we can, if there are a lot of content missing and we need a lot of clarity, then it's fair to ask them to revise the proposal or come in and present at the TSC meeting, which is what we've had in the past.
Okay, sounds good. Yeah.
Right, so let's try to do it async on the issue as much as possible. But if you're really, we need clarity, we can request the authors to come and present.
Okay.
Yep, it's a good plan. Thanks, Shruti. Okay, so for our last agenda item, Shruti, I tagged you in this just because we were talking on Slack about this. Since we have quorum today, we could go ahead and do these votes here if you wish, or we can do them on email if you prefer that.
I think we can do it here since we have quorum. Joey had to drop off, but I guess that's okay.
Yeah.
Yes, let me just triple check.
Do we have more than 4?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No, yeah, we're still good. We still have quorum. Okay. Have you presented each of these, or do we need to go through these? I don't know if.
I think the authors are on the call. Shubham, if you want to pick this one and quickly talk about
yeah, so I can share my screen and
sure
show this. Okay. Just a sec. Okay. So yeah, so a couple of months back, I created this proposal that we should have a deployment method where, if let's say before going to the production, the AWS method, that one should have a way of like deploying it in a single node with very less number of resources. And this implementation, I have created the code. It's now in the review. Here is the PR. So this this mini Magma code, it only takes around $50 per month if you deploy it on AWS. And I think all the functionalities are working, but yeah, as we can see, like reviews are still pending. So not officially tested, but yeah, we can use this for local development and all of these things. In future, the plan was, like me and Hunter were discussing, that we will expand this to have an on-prem solution for orchestrated deployment, such as OpenStack or some VMware solution. But this was just a starting point. Any questions regarding this?
Shivam, so there is a AMI image available for orchestrator, right, in AWS cloud. So this is just a form factor difference, is it, in terms of number of CPUs and storage, etc.?
So no, so this is not an AMI. It's simply a code. You can run it anywhere. It's like Ansible code. You can deploy it on a VM, on a custom, like your own private network or public network. So you are not logged in with the AWS Terraform code. So there is no AWS AMI or something like that with this.
Okay, this is local orchestrator proposal.
Yes, yes, local orchestrator, and I've like spin down the resources, like less number of IP, RAM, CPU, and even the cost. So everything.
Okay.
Where is the cost number coming from, Shubham? For a local deployment?
So I can tell you the cost number is coming from, if let's say we see this. let me take an instance. So, okay. So I used a simple 4 VM. I can tell you. For what way was it? So here we have to just specify for what. There was this tab where we just have to specify our. Okay, I think it was here. So I used this instance. No, this was different. But yeah, I can tell you I've tested it. I can show you the current billing. So I tested this for some time. Let's calculate the hours, then you will know for sure. Okay, yeah, let me show you the on-prem, like on-demand price. You can calculate from that. So AWS.ca. Yeah, so I calculated from here and I just used the instance. At that time I calculated, I remember. So this is our requirement and this is the cost, monthly cost. Like 4 CPU and 16 GB of RAM. 16 GB is too much, we only need 8, but yeah. So this was the cost of the system monthly.
I see. This is with the mini Magma orchestrator.
Yes. Yeah, so this was the thing.
So Shubham, this is an example that you are showing in AWS Cloud, right? But there is no restriction that it should run only on AWS Cloud. Mini Magma orchestrator can be used in any local machines, right?
Because it's an Ansible deployment. It's not a Terraform code that we need to create infrastructure, but there is an thing that you have to bring your own infrastructure. So there is no code for that. If you are using your own cloud or AWS, then you are responsible for spinning up the VM.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. At this moment, and plus, this is single node solution, so this is not suited for production. You can use it just for testing and trying it out. Once you are ready, okay, this is you want to go for production, then you can use the AWS method.
Okay.
So single AGW can be connected with mini Magma. That's what you mean?
Single AGW, what do you mean by that?
Yeah, meaning it's a single node, so meaning single node, single AGW.
No. Access gateway you can connect like as many as you want, but our orchestrator is deployed on a single node instead of 3 nodes, which we do it on Elastic Kubernetes cluster.
Good.
Yeah. So that was the thing. And I also propose that we can also do this one IP thing on our AWS orchestrator also. There is another proposal for that if we want to. So, but we have to test it first. Any questions? More?
Sounds good. Is this something you're testing in your own development environment, Shubham?
Yeah, this mini Magma thing.
Yeah.
So this has been like thoroughly tested. Many of the companies are using this in production also because the entire thing is open source. So even like day before yesterday, we deployed it on someone's AWS account in the community. This has been like thoroughly tested. It works in under 10 minutes. You can deploy the entire orchestrator and works just fine until you restart it. After that, Elasticsearch crash. But yeah, this works just fine.
Yeah, Shubham, in the past, we have seen some memory leak issue, right? If it runs for longer hours. So I hope those issues are resolved by now, right?
I don't know where those memory leaks are coming from. It can be from like Magma Docker images. It can be from other Docker images that we use, such as Grafana or Fluentd, or we are using a lot of things. Yeah, and plus most of those things are very old versions. We have not upgraded those. So we have to upgrade these things. Then we'll know for sure. Plus on the safe side, I've described here that we should use like 8 GB RAM we can use, but on the instance, I'm always using 16 GB because I've seen that it grows from when we deploy the full thing, it use 5 GB, then it continuously to grow to 6 GB. Yeah, not more than that. But yeah, that is just for local systems. So there is no access gateway connected to it. So until unless we try it out with some like load, we'll know for sure after that.
Yeah, Shubham. So those memory leak issue, are you noticing here in this single
No.
node office?
No,
Okay.
no.
I mean, is it tested for longer hours?
Yes, it has been tested for months, I can say.
Okay.
Yeah. Because the basic thing is Docker images are same, Helm images are same that we are using there. Plus, I design it to be like you don't have to rely on a specific Kubernetes cluster. So with our current AWS solution, we only use EKS, like Amazon Kubernetes cluster solution. But with this solution, I have designed it to, you can use Kubernetes cluster of your choice. It can be Kind, it can be Minikube, it can be Rancher Kubernetes cluster, it can be Google Kubernetes cluster. So at the time of deployment, you just have to select, okay, just use this one, then it will deploy it there. And I've talked to like more than 10 companies and they have used this solution on their different Kubernetes cluster, and this has worked flawlessly. Whenever I saw, okay, there was some errors from their side, I have like fixed the issue and like fix the bug whenever there was an issue.
Okay. And changing the Kubernetes distribution needs those Ansible file changes, right? To point out to use the right one.
No, not really. So
Nice.
there are just roles. If I can show you this, I initially used this repo too. So when we deploy it, I can show you. So these are just roles. Let's say if you want to use Kubernetes, you have it out of the box. If you don't want to use Kubernetes, just comment this line. So if this role is commented, then it will just use Kubernetes cluster, whatever you have in your like .kubeconfig file. It will pick it up from there. Okay. So I also had a talk with Red Hat people. They deployed it on their OpenShift cluster, so it works just fine. But yeah, I've deployed in many different Kubernetes clusters.
Okay, thanks, Shubham. Sounds good.
Yeah. Okay, so yeah, so just this PR is still in review. So once we have approved, then we can merge it. Any questions?
Will it have two versions of the orchestrator living inside the Magma framework, or is it this will be it? We will do some cleanup and just remain with one. I mean, it's just having two orchestrator deployment. Is it viable at some point?
So just to understand.
The
you are
question was, here you are
version.
creating a second orchestrator, in fact. I mean, it's just, you call it mini, but it's a second one. And will it remain two concurrent orchestrators, or at some point we will just pick one? So
this is just a one orchestrator. I'm calling it mini because I'm taking the concept of Minikube, where like it's not a production grade Kubernetes cluster, but it's a in a VM. I know. Yeah. So that's why this in a mini orchestrator means you have everything inside this Kubernetes cluster. So you are not relied on RDS or OpenSearch. Everything like database is inside that cluster. OpenSearch is like Elasticsearch is inside that cluster. Everything is inside that cluster. And regarding the version, if you ask me, currently I have defaulted to 1.6.1, but I can show you if let's say somebody wants to change their version. So they can let's say I'm developing Magma and I want to try my own version. So I can just simply add my Docker registry and Docker tag or my, let's say, Helm chart. Then I can simply just unflag this and add my own repo, GitHub repo or Docker Hub repo. So it will take all the Helm charts or Docker images from my repo instead of the official one. But from the user perspective, they only have to provide like IP where they want to deploy the entire thing and the domain name and username, of course, which mostly will be Ubuntu. So the goal was to get as less as input from the user.
Rafael, you're muted. And I think Rafael's point is around maintainability, right, Rafael? Around
Yeah, that was my question.
Maintainability in terms of upgrade.
No, I think in terms of the code.
It's having two version of deployment tool or whatever. At some point, it's having two version of something is never good.
Like any new changes to the orchestrator code, would it have to be changed on the regular orchestrator and mini orchestrator? How much code development would need to maintain both these versions?
Like a couple of lines, not more than that, because I'm using everything from the official orchestrator, like using official Docker images, official Helm charts, everything is official. So if let's say 161 is our current version and 117 is released, so we don't have to do anything. We just have to go to the orchestrator version and check the defaults and just update this version. That's it. And if, let's say, we want to update the Helm version. So these, after upgrading these versions, we are good to go. Nothing more than this. I've tested this.
And do we plan to test this deployment in the CI or at least in the GitHub action or whatever? That's another.
In GitHub Actions, we plan to test it how?
I mean, I'm just
like currently the access gateway, we test it in the VM, like the dev version of the access gateway is tested on the CI workflow, just to make sure that all the unit tests are passing, things are building. Is there a way to keep this testing the mini Magma orchestrator? So
yes, we have not looked into that, but the access gateway connection worked just fine. Like when me and Govind were working on the ARM setup of the access gateway, so the AWS was not connecting, but this deployment was able to connect. But we should definitely have some CI kind of setup for testing it.
Right, it helps with regression test and to make sure that any code that is checked in doesn't break this. So
yes, true. So we can work on some kind of CI. So I've not looked into that. Okay. Any more questions?
Shubham, just as a next steps, could you add these comments on the proposal itself?
Like the CI thing?
Yes.
Okay, I'll like write a proper comment here. Is that fine?
Right.
Like after the call. Okay.
Anything else? Any other action item that we missed from Govind, Rafael?
Shubham confirmed that there is no memory leak issue. In the past, we have seen some memory leak issue with the orchestrator. As part of CA, you can enable a long hour testing if possible. It can run for, I don't know, 1 or 2 days kind of test. I don't know whether such a infra exists. Overnight test and all is being part of CI framework. It will be nice to add one if possible.
Yeah, I can show you, let me share my screen again. I can show you this. So this was a node. This is deployed like 41 days ago. this is using that mini Magma code. We deployed it on, like this is on Delhi University's infra. They have their own private cloud. And we use this for ARM testing. And 41 days, so this is working just fine. Yeah.
Okay.
I can see the pod. There were some restarts because sometimes they have to restart it, but yeah, everything is working just fine. Yeah, one more thing, I've pinned down all the pods to one. So for every single service, we only get one pod. Like on AWS, we have 2 pods for every single service, not here. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, no more comments from my side, Shruti.
Shubham, I want to ask something. Like, I have tried your script on Kind Galaxy and it nearly took 4 minutes. So it's like I have issue in my internet, or is it the script?
So it actually depends on how many roles you are using. If you are deploying a fresh Kubernetes cluster, it will use less time. If you are using existing Kubernetes cluster, it will take less time. Like I deployed on a Kind Kubernetes cluster where everything was already running. So it only took me 1 minute. But it depends on our environment to environment.
Yeah, okay.
Any other questions? Do we want to take this to a vote? Does anyone want to raise the motion?
Oh, what does that mean, Kendall?
Oh, just someone has to raise it and then second, and then everyone can vote.
Okay for me.
Okay for me.
Yeah.
Right, then if everyone votes in favor, please say aye.
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 Fighting.
Any abstains? Right, the motion carries. So we only have 7 minutes left to go through the second proposal that needed to be voted on. Shruti, do you think we have enough time for that?
I think so. I think should be a quick one. Nils, would you like to jump in?
Let's try.
It's a short one. It's something that's already running and tested. So
Yeah, I can do that. So hello, everybody. Proposal is to make the Bazel build and test job required for CI. Currently, it's not required. The test executes all currently migrated Bazel tests and builds everything which is currently migrated to Bazel. The job relies heavily on caching, so it doesn't run very long. I have the page open here. It's what I see in the last couple of hours is between 15 and 22 minutes. And for the last couple of days, the job was very stable. It was stable before as well. So I don't expect much issues there. It's for testing regression when code is changed and of already migrated Bazel code, so it can quickly be fixed. I would also offer to have a proactive approach if the test fails, if somebody can help us to create a Slack action, then we can create a channel where failures can be reported and the Bazel team can jump onto the pull request to give support. Any questions?
All right, then no questions. We can take this to a vote. If you vote in favor, everyone say aye.
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 Aye. Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstains? All right, great. Then the motion carries.
Thank you.
And thank you. And that brings us to the end of our agenda. Just in a matter of time. Is there any other business that people would like to bring up?
Yeah, on the last meeting notes, I just created one kind of proposal that we have 2 empty repos on our Magma organization on our GitHub. So should we delete those on last meeting notes?
Which ones are these, Shubham?
One is empty, and second one we used code for access gateway, and that is not maintained right now, and that code has already been merged 6 months back. So do you see the link? Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
So-
I think we should delete empty code. We can quickly take a vote and do that.
Yeah, and also the other repo, like more than 7 months, I see there was no maintenance, and we don't even need that repo. Did we vote?
Okay, so we're voting on deleting the empty repo, the magma-fb-only.
Or both the repos? Yes.
On both the repos, okay, yes.
Yeah.
So if you vote in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
I think this is outside proposal. We can directly delete it. Yeah.
Okay, opposed? Anyone opposed? Any abstains? Yep, the motion carries. Shubham, do you have access to delete those, or do I need to step in and get those deleted?
No, I don't have access. Maybe you have to ask Marie or someone else.
Okay.
Sorry, one quick last question. If the proposal goes through that the code owners are voted inside of the code owners groups, who's actually able to add people to the code owner groups?
Yeah. So one of the Magma repo admins can add you. Kendall, I think everybody on the TSC is admin.
Yeah, I
then?
think I need to see if we're okay with giving everyone admin access. I assume we are, just need to triple check, but right now I'm happy to help add anyone who needs to be added until we have best path forward.
So I guess best process would be for now in the code owner governance channel just to announce that somebody got voted and please to add him to a certain code owner team.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, you can do that or send me an email. Mm-hmm.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, great. That brings us to the end. Thank you, everyone. Enjoy your Monday.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Have a good week. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.